Hello everyone. We've got great news coming in. We've got to talk about Mason Mount. We've got to talk about Mason Greenwood, Declan Rice, and very many others. With also getting quite a bit of information about Andre Onana. Anyway, let's get the party started. How have you been? Anyway, let me introduce the topic and we get going. Hello everyone, and thank you for being part of the United chapter. And make your point, subscribe and ring that notification bell so you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to you, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Manchester United related, right about here at the United chapter with me, your host Abu KALS, as I'm definitely dedicated to bringing to you the latest straight as it comes in. It will be remembered that at the club Manchester United is looking at reinforcement in different fields so that they can favorably compete in the coming season. It will be remembered that Erik ten Hag in a recent interview said that he was not able to compete as he would have loved because he was limited on who to get in the other transfers. In the general transfer window, he wanted quite a number of football players, but things didn't go on quite well for him, but he managed to get some. But looking at, on a whole, how Manchester United performed, Manchester United didn't perform badly. The fact that they Manchester United was in 2 finals and also had to win a trophy, and not only did it win a trophy but also qualified for Champions League football. That was a great thing for the club Manchester United. Anyway, let's get the party rolling. Let's get the party started. We're talking about, let's start with Mason Greenwood. Mason Greenwood, who is an English professional football player and has been playing for Manchester United. But it will be remembered that Mason Greenwood was facing charges as he's not been at Manchester United for 17 months, and that was because of charges. He had charges that are not appropriate to talk about, but he had charges of assault and stuff, and he was put under investigation. And the fact that he was under a very big investigation, he could not come back to the club Manchester United. So looking at how Manchester United has dealt with this, Manchester United was looking at the return of the football player. A lot is definitely happening, and it is said that he's been in training. But before we even get to that, the 17 months that he's been away, his return comes at a point where the court says he is an innocent man. He's not guilty. He's an innocent man. And right about now, Manchester United, actually then Manchester United was like, we will have a private investigation, look into everything and see what the fans think, and also look at the image of the club. Then we will make a final decision on the future of the football player. But many people had a lot of hopes that Mason Greenwood would definitely come back there and then and start playing. But that was definitely not the thing. So it is said that Mason Greenwood, definitely him as a football player, he's been learning, he's been yearning to make sure that he can come back to the club Manchester United and play first team football. And the fact that Manchester United could not let him do that, there's been a bit of a pull between Manchester United and Mason Greenwood. However, Mason Greenwood has been quite understanding with the situation, because it is not just the management at Manchester United. It is a broad thing. It's a very big thing. It goes to it goes from himself and goes to the management and then to the fans as a whole. It's not a one-day decision. The courts definitely came out and said Mason Greenwood can be a free man. He can play football again, and Manchester United said they will have a private investigation, and once the private investigation is done, what will happen is he will start playing football or he will not play for Manchester United. And recently what came out is that after everything was done with that investigation, with that private investigation at Manchester United, it looks, by the look of things, the investigation is done. And we are still waiting for the possible results of this investigation. But looking at it from the inside, looking at how things have definitely been running, you can tell that Manchester United already made a final decision. And it came to the tabloids, and Manchester United was considering, and what I'm saying is from before, and Manchester United, and I'm going to tell what happened before and what is currently happening right about now. Manchester United was in a position of seeing what is exactly happening with Mason Greenwood. It will be remembered that once he was acquitted of all charges, Mason Greenwood could have started playing there and then. But some technical staff at Manchester United advised the club, and they said he should not play there and then, because they are not so sure. After 17 months, within 17 months, a lot definitely happens. A lot could have happened within those 17 months. He could be a totally different Greenwood than the one that was at the club Manchester United some time ago. However, you will be remembered that the Mason Greenwood that was at Manchester United some years ago, some time ago, just 17 months ago, that was a perfect football player. And there is no club that could say no to a Mason Greenwood that played for Manchester United 17 months ago. And right about now, then, Manchester United had to take into consideration that they could not make a direct impact, instant impact, and make him play. The plan was get Mason Greenwood, loan him off, watch him play, and then what definitely will happen, what will happen is not going to. And once he is okay, once he's playing all right, if the Manchester United staff see that he's still got it, he's playing quite well, brilliantly, then he can return to the club Manchester United. A period that was set was just something like only 1 season away, just on a loan period of just 1 season. And the fact that Mason Greenwood is still very young, 21 years of age, there is no possibility whatsoever right about now, as a decision that was made right about now, there is no possibility whatsoever of selling Mason Greenwood, as very many clubs have contacted the club Manchester United about Manchester United selling Mason Greenwood. Manchester United has been straight to these clubs and told them Mason Greenwood, in capital letters, is not for sale, and that is exactly what is happening. Mason Greenwood is definitely not for sale. There is no chance for Manchester United selling Mason Greenwood. However, that's where the loan deal definitely came in, and these clubs have now resorted to making sure that they can possibly get Mason Greenwood as a loanee. But still, Manchester United has looked into things again. It is said that Mason Greenwood has been in personal training, and by the look of things, he is even much better than the Mason Greenwood before. And that's why Erik ten Hag and his staff have come out and said Mason Greenwood might not be going off on loan. There is a big possibility, big chance that Mason Greenwood is going to be starting on Manchester United squad once the season begins. With the fact that when you see how Mason Greenwood has been practicing and playing in personal training, it only shows you that he's only getting better. And the fact still that he is only 21 years, that definitely shows you that he's still got a great future ahead of him. It will be remembered that Mason Greenwood could be his contract, actually, Mason Greenwood's contract runs out in 2025. That gives Manchester United a bit of time. And there is still a big possibility, there is a very big possibility that Manchester United is going to renew his contract. Manchester United has been looking at even different possibilities on how they can enhance this contract. Manchester United could be offering him a contract extension, because look at it this way: Mason Greenwood is definitely still very young, and it is a very big possibility that if he comes back to the Manchester United first 11, definitely is going to score quite a big number of goals. He's been at Manchester United. He's been an academy football player at Manchester United. He's grown to the levels, to the big levels, and right about now, he is a star, but a star with a few problems that definitely need to be sorted. But by the look of things, still, Manchester United is making sure that they can get everything around Mason Greenwood done and prepare him for the coming season. And we are most likely going to be seeing Mason Greenwood playing for the club Manchester United one more time. So if you want Mason Greenwood to play for the club Manchester United one more time, can give this video a thumbs up, and possibly we'll definitely know that Mason Greenwood should be a Manchester United football player whatsoever. You can give your comment in the comment section, but please keep it nice, and there is no abusing, there is no bad words in there. Just get into the comment section. Let us know what you think about Mason Greenwood and him joining the club Manchester United, coming back, making a super comeback to the club Manchester United. Do you think Manchester United should loan him, or you think he should remain at the Manchester United? Oh, you definitely think that Manchester United should sell him? Anyway, I think I'm not going to give my personal opinion, but I think he's a good football player. Anyway, let's get the party rolling then. And we're talking about yet another football player. We're talking about Mason Mount. Let's talk about Mason Mount. There is quite great news also coming in from Chelsea, from Mason Mount to the club Manchester United. Anyway, let's get the party started one more time. Hello everyone, and thank you for being part of the United chapter. And please subscribe, ring that notification bell so that you do not miss out on whatever we have to bring to you right about here at the United chapter with me, your host Abu KALS, as I'm definitely dedicated to bringing to you the latest straight as it comes in. Let's get the party going. Anyway, we're talking about Manchester United's #1 target, and that is Mason Mount, who is a Chelsea football player. There is great news coming in from BBC Sport. It is said, anyway, BBC Sport has said Manchester United to take third bid of about £55 million for Chelsea midfielder Mason Mount. And that's what BBC says. And from different sources, we are still seeing that Manchester United has already submitted this bid, and the bid has been around £55 million. It will be remembered that Mason Mount is one of those football players, one of the midfielders that Erik ten Hag has always wanted wherever he's gone. When Erik ten Hag was was a manager at Ajax Amsterdam, it will be remembered that he tried his level best to make sure that he can sign the football player, but things didn't go on quite well. He even tried to get him on loan, but things didn't go on quite well for Ajax Amsterdam and also for the football player Mason Mount. So Erik ten Hag has not been so satisfied with the fact that Mason Greenwood could not play for him. Sorry, not Mason Greenwood, Mason Mount. One is Mason Greenwood, the other is Mason Mount. We've got to get something in there. Anyway, so what actually happened is Mason Mount this time round, he told Chelsea that he is definitely not interested in a move from any other club apart from Manchester United. It will be remembered that Mason Mount was linked to Liverpool, and he was linked to the club Manchester United. However, Liverpool have backed off. Liverpool are not going to be going into the Mason Mount transfer. Manchester United has had already 2 bids rejected for Mason Mount, and the third bid is reportedly to have been submitted, with Chelsea saying that they could be taking around 65 to 70 million pounds. Manchester United is trying to put up negotiations about this transfer to make sure they can get a big deal and a great deal for this football player. You can let us know what you definitely think about the football player and him joining the club Manchester United. However, before we go any further, still talking about Mason Mount. He's trying to run away from the club Chelsea because Chelsea has got quite a big number of problems. Chelsea has been investigated by the Premier League about how much they have been spending. It will be remembered that Chelsea has spent over £600 million in the last two spells, and definitely that shows you that Chelsea is at bad terms with the FFP rules. So, having said that, what is actually happening right about there, you definitely can tell that Chelsea is trying to make sure that they can get out of those FFP rules that they have damaged. And looking at their plan, first of all, they're trying to sell football players. They're shipping a lot of football players to Saudi Arabia, and there is also an investigation taking place with Chelsea ownership being linked to Saudi Arabia. However, as Premier League came out and said they're making investigations, but what they are getting still right about now, Chelsea is still okay, but still investigations are still taking place. So Mason Mount is looking at a point where he definitely needs to make a move away from a club that is full of drama. So Mason Mount is definitely looking at making sure he can leave that club, leave Chelsea, and is being paid something like £80,000 per week, and that is definitely very low for a football player like him. With Manchester United coming up and saying, we can definitely give you quite a lot more money, we can give you a bigger amount of money, maybe £100,000 per week. Definitely that shows you how Manchester United is willing to take on the football player. So a lot is definitely taking place. Let's see what Fabrizio Romano had to say about Mason Mount. Manchester United are set to submit third official bid in excess of £55 million for Mason Mount. That's the latest from Fabrizio Romano. And let's see if anybody else is talking about Mason Mount. Oh, let's see. Still Fabrizio Romano saying sources feel this is going to be a final proposal after two bids rejected in the recent weeks. Manchester United was quick. Manchester United wants a quick resolution, and also 100% is agreed about personal terms. Yeah. Personal terms shouldn't be any big problem with Manchester United and this football player. It will be remembered that Manchester United is definitely looking at making sure personal terms are agreed, but it is reported that personal terms with Mason Mount shouldn't be a problem whatsoever. There is no possibility of personal terms being a problem because Mason Mount has already chose Manchester United over Liverpool. With Mason Mount saying Liverpool shouldn't even bother for a move because he's not interested in the move to the club Liverpool. That shows you that it's green lights and totally green lights for the club Manchester United. So we are definitely most likely going to be seeing a lot that is happening. Anyway, and also we can talk a little bit about Onana, but I'll give you a little bit. I'm not going to be talking a lot about Onana. If you want Onana, you can always you can get into yet another video that I'll be putting out about Onana, and it will be a detailed one about Onana. With Transfer News Live saying Manchester United can't pay beyond £30 million for Andre Onana because of their takeover situation. Yeah. Talking about the takeover, Manchester United definitely talking about the takeover. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is still battling with the the Qatari super banker, and that is Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani. But it is said that Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad Al Thani has already taken Manchester United. He's the current owner, but it is not yet confirmed to us just as yet. If it gets confirmed, then we'll definitely be bringing it to you. But you already know that Manchester United, with Manchester United's ownership that is uncertain right about now, it is hindering the progress of the transfers. So Manchester United is limited when it comes to transfers. Anyway, I will be talking about that later, but right about now, we've been talking about Mason Mount and his possibility of joining the club, Manchester United. Let's get into yet another football player, and that is none other than Declan Rice. It will be remembered that a lot is happening with Declan Rice and the club Manchester United, and Declan Rice as a football player, a lot is happening around him. It will be remembered that Declan Rice is an English professional football player who plays as a defensive midfielder for the club West Ham, and has also been playing as a captain for the club West Ham. It will be remembered still that West Ham put a £120 million for the West Ham captain, the Hammers captain, and that is Declan Rice. No £120 million, no Declan Rice. Do you think Manchester United is in a position of paying £120 million for Declan Rice? Anyway, that could be quite a lot of money, but Manchester United has a clear plan for the football player. It will be remembered that what is definitely happening with the football player, with Declan Rice, Manchester United has got a concrete plan. 2 players for one, and one of the players being Manchester United is looking at an exchange of 2 players, giving West Ham 2 players and taking Declan Rice. And also, there is a rumor that that will definitely also not be enough. Still, there will be quite add-ons definitely will also be considered, and still a bit of more money is something that West Ham will definitely have to get. However, it is stiff competition. I must say, ever since I started making this transfer news and stuff, I've not seen a player being competed for as much as Declan Rice. And all clubs are very interested in 100% into this transfer. Declan Rice has had to decline some football clubs, especially clubs from Europe. He's made his stance proper and said that he only wants to play in Premier League. It will be remembered that Bayern Munich were one of the admirers of Declan Rice, with Bayern Munich even putting in a bid and then saying they're definitely not going to be going for him, because the club said, West Ham said, no £120 million, no Declan Rice. Real Madrid also came out and they said something about Declan Rice. Paris Saint-Germain, same thing, Declan Rice, but he has declined every club, every transfer related to Europe. Definitely he's out. He only wants to stay in the Premier League. And getting into the Premier League, there are 3 clubs that are interested and are very much into this transfer. And there should be 4, but Newcastle United backed off this transfer. And right about now as we speak, Newcastle United cannot get Declan Rice. He is out there and he is not going to be part of Newcastle United. That leaves majorly 3 football clubs in it. Actually, it's not 3, should be 4. Again, in Premier League, in the Premier League, there should be 5, but it's cut down to proper ones. There are 3, with 2. One of them being West Ham, that is not going to be taking part in any bidding war or anything. And then the other one is Chelsea, that is just observing all the time, trying to observe and see what is happening. But they are still not the favorites in this one. Anyway, where Declan Rice could definitely be moving to, it's 3 clubs, and Declan Rice, as a football player, he is a free soul. He's said whichever club comes, he will go with it. He's made it clear to West Ham United that he is not going to be part of West Ham United the coming season. However, having said that, there are 3 clubs that are interested in him, and the bidding war is between or amongst 3 clubs. There is Manchester United, there is Manchester City, and there is Arsenal. Arsenal has had 2 bids rejected, and one was £80 million, and the other was £90 million, and still. The club West Ham was very comfortable saying they need £120 million. And so you can see right about now as we're speaking, no 90 million. If you've got £90 million, you cannot buy Declan Rice. You can't get Declan Rice at £90 million. And that, and Arsenal is also preparing another bid, 3rd bid for Declan Rice. Anyway, having said that, Manchester City is also another club that is very interested in this transfer. And Manchester City definitely comes out and they say they want Declan Rice. They are willing to pay something close to £105 million for Declan Rice. And they have not yet paid that amount of money, and neither has the bid officially gone in, but they are interested. They're preparing the bid and they want to put the bid in. And Arsenal, having heard about that, they are making an improved bid, and Manchester United has been looking at this, and Manchester United comes and says, I'm giving you Scott McTominay, I'm giving you Harry Maguire, and I'm also going to add you a little bit of more money for this transfer, and definitely everything will be sorted. I will have the football player. And which deal sounds juicy? Manchester United, I think if Manchester United gives the Hammers Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay, that could be a good deal. However, look at it this way. Manchester United would be in a better position of getting rid of Harry Maguire. But there is always, I know we don't, many people do not like Harry Maguire, but look at it this way. When Harry Maguire has been playing for the English national team, he's been an excellent football player. You can see in the last international games, he's played quite well. And also, looking at how he played in the World Cup, he was a very brilliant football player. There is something wrong with Harry Maguire. And it might not be with Harry Maguire. It might be with the system at Manchester United that is not favoring his play. And that could be something to look at. And when he moves to another club, when he goes to another club, definitely that could mean quite a lot. He could be a much better football player. And the club that we are talking about is West Ham. And West Ham saying if they give, there is a big possibility of West Ham taking 2 football players for one, and also getting a bit of more money. Manchester United deal looks as the most juicy deal in all this, with Manchester City saying they can give them around £105 million. Definitely, that is it's a good deal, £105 million, but still Manchester City is not yet decided 100%. And the fact that the fact that West Ham United is definitely looking at making sure that they can get this football player, get a wonderful football player, get 2 football players. West Ham can get 2 football players and get a bit of money. That could be a good deal. And when you value everything, it could probably sum up to £120 million. And that could be a juicy deal for the club. Anyway, let's wait and see where all this takes us. And that's it been for Declan Rice. And there is a big possibility that Declan Rice could join the club Manchester United. Otherwise, thank you for being a good audience. All you need to do is simple. Just make it a point to subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you do not miss out on whatever we've definitely got to bring to you, as long as it is sports and as long as it is Manchester United related, right about here at the United chapter, as we have been talking about Mason Greenwood, Mason Mount, and Declan Rice, and a little bit about Onana. But with Mason Greenwood, a big possibility that he is going to be making a comeback to the club Manchester United, with the club already spotting, with a few sources saying that they've spotted him in personal training, making a trying to make sure that he can come back much fitter and better. And also Mason Mount, it will be remembered that Mason Mount's £55 million bid could definitely be in by now, and Manchester United is looking to make sure that they can get Mason Mount by fair means or foul. And also, we've been talking about Declan Rice and seeing that Declan Rice, there is a big possibility and a big chance for Declan Rice joining the club, Manchester United, and with two football players that could be exchanged for Declan Rice, two superstars at Manchester United, one of them being Harry Maguire, who's cost Manchester United quite a big number of goals, and yet the other one is a youngster, a very good football player, Scott McTominay, who could probably be heading to West Ham United. Anyway, make your feelings known, get into the comment section, comment about these football players, let us know what you think about these football players and them joining the club Manchester United. Otherwise, I must say thank you and goodbye for now.